if by chance anybody sees a couple of little girls standing behind me, let me know.
I'm Brett Clark, and by now you know what I'm here for. Ghosts and booze. That's why I made it a point to visit bars, pubs, eateries, and distilleries to learn about their history. Some even say, haunted history. These are stories and experiences from the staff and owners themselves, maybe even told over a drink or two, or four. This is Haunt Hops.
My name is Lindsay Patillo. I'm the general manager. I've worked here for 16 years. Just became the general manager a few months ago. So it's been...
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a fun journey. I started off as the night auditor at the front desk on third shift.
Oh.
And then, yeah.
You arranged some wicked beverages here. And
absolutely.
We've got this one, which is the Pisgah Pale Ale from Black Mountain.
That is correct. I have the Noble Cider from Asheville. Cheers.
Thank you again. Cheers. That's good.
It opened in 1927.
Okay.
It was a hotel to start with, and then it closed 10 years during the war. And we housed soldiers here that were recovering from different wounds when it reopened and became a thriving hotel again.
So you actually housed soldiers here for?
Yes.
Wow. The place right across?
The arcade building. So that was the hospital where they had their procedures, sometimes amputations, just where they went for treatment for whatever injuries they had.
Oh, wow.
And then they stayed here to recover after. Unfortunately, not everyone recovered.
You're notable for a particular film, which even from being from North Carolina, I was not aware. No idea that Dirty Dancing was shot out here.
That's funny. So they filmed in the area. The majority of the hotel scenes were it wasn't filmed here. In this hotel, they stayed here while they filmed in the area. There were 2 scenes filmed here on property. One was in this main dining room, and it was when they were eating lunch, I believe. And then the scene, when they were dancing in the dance hall, that's in Roosevelt Hall. And then, of course, the lake scenes. The lake scenes were filmed here.
That's cool.
What's wild, people didn't realize it was actually cold, it was fall, and they had to paint a lot of the stuff green so that it still looked.
Oh, wow.
But they had to pull the actors out of the water periodically because their lips were blue because it was so cold.
That's cool. But I mean, you've got you got a Jennifer Grey room?
Yeah, and Jennifer Grey suite, Swayze suite.
Okay.
We have Baby's Bungalow and Johnny's Cabin.
Baby's Bungalow.
Yeah, we have corporate functions, a lot of some church groups. We have it's a beautiful area and it brings people in.
And Chimney Rock, that's Chimney Rock, right?
Yeah, it's right here.
If anybody who's not familiar with Chimney Rock, look it up. Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
But
to me, that's a better movie than Dirty
Dancing.
I hate to say that. I'm not. Oh,
how dare you?
They're gonna stone me for that.
When you started here, you were a night audit.
Yes.
And how long was that when you were?
That was in 2009.
Okay.
So yeah, and so I worked from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Oh,
the worst time. And it's funny because people say 3 a.m. is whatever, but it's very true because it would be 3 a.m. on the dot. Something would happen or catch me off guard. And I would think, what? And I would look and it would always be exactly 3 a.m. And I was like, you gotta be that's, it's crazy. So I was working night audit. I was at the front desk. There's a corner computer and that's when we did the reports in. So I'm at the computer and the staircase is in my peripheral. And this boy starts walking down the stairs. Now I know that the hotel's empty. I already know that. I have no guests. I know I have the doors locked. So I was doing I think I was putting the papers in the scanner. And I looked away just for a second. And when I turned back, there was a little boy, maybe 10 years old, walking down the stairs. He wasn't see-through. He wasn't translucent. Really? He wasn't flowy. No, it was a kid.
It was like a solid person.
Like me.
Like a real,
walking down the stairs. And I laughed only because I wanted to cry. I was terrified. It scared me.
Weird.
It scared me so bad. For just a couple of seconds, I froze. And then I closed my eyes and prayed. And I was like, I don't
Yeah.
I kept thinking, please don't let me open my eyes and him be standing here because I will die. I'm positive I'm gonna have a heart, I'm done. But when I opened my eyes, obviously nobody was there. You really try to rationalize, they're like, you didn't sleep as much today, you have an overactive imagination. Your eyes are playing tricks on you. Like, and then I was really embarrassed and I didn't tell anybody for a very long time. Because I thought they would think I was crazy. I thought I was crazy.
Yeah. How long would you say you saw, like actual had visual sight of the boy?
Just a few seconds, I would say. Long enough to walk down like 3 steps before I closed my eyes. But you could also hear, you could hear him there. It wasn't like...
You heard the footsteps coming down?
Yes.
Did you see him more than once?
Yes.
Or, really?
Maybe 8 or 9 months later. I'm not positive. It was in wintertime again, but the first time I saw him was in February. So we would say like the following winter, or I would say the following winter. Really? Is when I saw him again. Yeah. He was in the same spot, doing the same thing, like walking down the stairs. But I wasn't as scared. I was still scared the second time I saw him, but I was also relieved. And then I told people, I was like, there's a kid here. You know, I saw him. Now, the second time I saw him, the hotel was not closed. We had other guests in the hotel, but I'm positive that was him. It was undoubtedly the same kid.
Well, when you finally told people, did anybody else see the boy?
My supervisor laughed and she was like, oh, he's been here for years. Like she acted like it was, I was like,
Thanks for the inside info.
So I think the first time I called her scared out of my mind was when, again, the hotel was empty. I'm at the front desk. And on the second floor above me, it sounded like kids were running a race. Like they were down the hallway. And I knew that no one was in the hotel. And I called her from the parking lot, like probably hysterical. And she said, she laughed and she was like, if you tell them to stop, they'll stop. First of all, no, I'm not going to acknowledge them because then if they know that I know, they're gonna be like, oh, we knew that she knew. We're gonna keep messing with her. And she was like, no, if you tell them to stop. And I said, well, you never told me that before. And she said, walk up there and just yell and say, I have work to do, leave me alone. Well, at that time, we did not have cameras. So I was like, hell no, I'm not going there. Are you insane? Yeah, we have cameras on the second floor now, but I was like, I'm liable to walk up there and disappear and get sucked into the wall or something. Yeah, right. I watched too much TV. So I was like, absolutely not. But I did sit in my car and wait in my car until our pastry chef came in at 6 a.m. When he came in, I came back in the hotel with him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you sat out in the parking lot?
I sat in my car in the parking lot, yeah.
Jeez.
So that actually happened on more than one occasion. And there's a previous employee, he works up at the Riverwatch now, and he's also a commissioner, but I just saw him last week. I had lunch there, and he was laughing and telling my coworkers, do you know how many times we'd come to work and find Lindsay in her car in the parking lot?
Oh,
she was scared.
Yeah. Did you have guests to come up and approach you or talk and ask you, hey, is there things going on?
Yes, we would have guests that would come down and say, hey, I heard something outside of my door. I opened the door, no one was there. Or the previous owners, so when they purchased this in 2004, they closed it for renovations. The wife, she stayed here. We're talk about brave. Brave, yeah, like she's tough. She stayed here by herself while they were doing renovations. Now, the local police knew that, so they would like drive through or occasionally like come and just walk the hall, make sure everything was okay. She stayed in the 3rd floor in what is now the Jennifer Gray Suite. She told us one night she was in the room watching TV and she heard something. So she started to like walk towards the door and she saw the shadow go by the door. And she was like, oh, the police are probably here because sometimes they would come walk the halls just to make sure everything's okay. That's the last room on the floor before the emergency exit. So she saw it walk by and it didn't come back. So she was like, she opened the door and looked and no one was there. But so she said she closed the door and just stuffed a towel so that she wouldn't see.
So she couldn't see that?
I was like, there's no way. I couldn't have done it. We had a vow renewal here. Okay. And I believe they were at the gazebo doing their vows. So everything was set up in the dining room and they had their ice sculpture set up in front of the fireplace. So he came in here and just snapped a picture of it, posted it on Facebook and was like, congratulations to the lovely couple. And then people were commenting, oh, it's a beautiful ice sculpture. Tell them we say congratulations. And like halfway down, a lady commented, she's like, hello, am I crazy? Am I the only one that sees a boy standing next to the ice sculpture? And then it was like, I didn't even realize it until she said it. And you're like, wow, he's right there.
Yeah.
It ended up getting a lot of comments. So then people were saying, well, there's apps now where you can add images, so it's probably been altered. So he took it, he still had the picture in his camera, he got it authenticated, so he was able to prove that he didn't do anything crazy. And then from there, different news stations came in and interviewed him here in front of the fireplace.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the same boy?
I don't know, because the clothes look different.
Okay.
The clothes, the kid I saw definitely had on like blue jean overalls.
Yeah.
And I don't think the kid in that picture, I think he has on like a white button up maybe, so I don't think it's the same kid. Prior to working here, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I wish I would see a ghost, or because I watched the TV shows too. I was like, that's so cool. Until I started working here, and then it's like, it's a different level of fear. A lot of it happens, well, I say in a straight line, but that's room 217 and 218 directly above the fireplace, and then 317 and 318, we've had complaints, not complaints, but interactions or experiences where they're like, something wasn't right, or I felt a presence.
Tell me about the paranormal group. What exactly did that group catch here?
They started in the basement, and that's where they spent most of their time. And as they were about to leave, they were about to approach where the staircase is, right there in front of the old spa reservations desk. And he felt something scratched him on his back. Afterwards, they came upstairs, they were talking about it, and then they went back through the video footage, and that's when they all heard something call his name, his nickname.
Nobody else in the group knew? No one else knew.
Yeah, he said like it really made him nervous, because he said that was like a childhood nickname that his family called him.
Yeah.
And no one in that group knew that. Of all of the activity and the things that they had recorded in the hotel and what they had encountered, whatever was in the spa was the only aggressive entity that like you should worry about, which sounds terrible. And they said, this is what really stood out. They said it was never human form.
But I put a camera down in that room, and it's rolling right now, so I'll post that up for people to look at. You mentioned room 217 and 218. What's the story there?
So previously it was a wedding suite, I guess you could call it. It was one room. And when the hotel first opened, it was their first wedding they actually hosted here. The groom killed the wife and unfortunately killed himself. So he said apparently she wasn't pure and she flirted with the hotel staff. Or they say that's what his suicide, that was his suicide note. Since then, the hotel obviously has been renovated a couple of times, but the most recent renovation, they divided it into 2 rooms. So it's now 217 and 218. But we have had a lot of guests say that they have experiences. They've seen a woman standing over them. They've heard, we've had several say that they hear a woman crying in the room.
Okay.
And they smell roses or like a rose-like perfume, really, really strong, like really potent.
Not a lot of people are aware, and I'd like to bring this to everybody's attention to Western North Carolina because, of course, the Helene, they think a lot of things are still like shut down and closed.
Everything that survived has reopened. Chimney Rock Village, there's several businesses, restaurants, shopping centers that have reopened. The difficulty they face now is because Highway 64 is closed, and right there in Bat Cave and Girton, those 2 roads are closed. So that's really, really hurting those businesses. They're not getting any traffic from Asheville and Hendersonville because the other route is they have to take I-26.
Okay.
Instead of a 20-minute drive, it's now an hour drive on I-26. So I think we actually had a meeting yesterday and we talked about hopefully it's the Department of Transportation has to say, they have the final say, but we wanted to hopefully have a meeting with them and maybe Hendersonville Sheriff's Department to see if they would be a little more lenient on travelers that are coming to support businesses, or just open it on Saturday and Sunday. Like during the week, they could keep it closed. They have the barricades up. So if they could open it on the weekends, just Saturday and Sunday, to the public and let people come through, that would really help some of these businesses thrive.
But again, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for considering us and and featuring us. We appreciate it.
No, definitely, and appreciate your time and your hospitality. We'll be on sometime soon here before Halloween.
If you want to stay somewhere in time, I highly recommend the Lake Lure Inn. Next, I'm on my way to another historic building with plenty of surprises.